So hey, what's up guys? It's Ben. Today I'm coming with another video. Today it's going to be of cats. Okay, when I say that, it's going to be mainly about why Cats 2019 was really bad. Now I'm going to talk about the Broadway version as well. I think that's important to talk about. And I like the Broadway version. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the source material, Old Possum's Practical Book of Cats, right? I'm going to start off with something a little bit fun because I was looking for movie posters for Cats, of stuff to lay in here, and I just typed in Cats 2019 movie poster. What it gave me was what you are seeing on the screen right now, which I thought was absolutely comical. And I thought these were very clever and entertaining, and so I just thought it would be a good idea if I shared them with you. But that's it. I'm going to move on now. I don't want to spend a bunch of time talking about this. I'm going to move on to Old Possum's Practical Book of Cats. So there's not a ton for me to talk about in here. So as far as this book goes, it's poems. There's a lot of good source material and stuff within it. They used a lot of the poems. It was pretty much like a lot of the musical numbers are poems. So that was good. But that's really all I can say. You know, I thought the book was entertaining. So let's get into it. First thing I want to point out is I really like this poster that's showing up here. I really think it's interesting and it's really enticing to me. So I like stuff that's warm glow, especially in darkness. And this poster right here, I really like it. She's standing in front of the door. It's got the edge of the light. And I'm like, ooh, what's behind the door? What kind of world is this? Is it really fantastical and amazing? The answer is no, it's not. But the poster is really intriguing, and I really like the trailer too. I thought there was a lot of potential in the trailer, and I was actually really jacked up to see it, even though a lot of people were nervous. And then as reviews started coming out, people were like, no, this movie sucks. But I was like, I'm going to see it anyways. And so I tried to see this movie 3 times, right? It snowed one night, so we didn't go out, me and my friends. And then the next night, we decided to try to go, but a fire alarm went off. And so we only saw 20 minutes of the movie. But then we came back the next day. Don't worry. We got to see the movie for free the next... Well, it wasn't for free. But we didn't have to buy another ticket. Anyways. So yeah. And we finally saw it. And, you know, as a guy who loves movies, it was worth it. But if I wasn't... I mean, if you're really into seeing stuff that's really bad, I mean, okay, but your average person wouldn't be worth it, especially trying to see it 3 times. So, not good. And I'm going to go into why. The first part, and probably the most noticeable part, is CGI. CGI is just not good. It makes things very uncomfortable because it's very much human, but also very much cat. It's really giving off some strong furry vibes, and it makes people uncomfortable. And so interesting thing about this movie is that they actually went back in and they redid some of the visual effects, CGI, stuff like that, and sent it out while the movie was still in theaters. Like before they sent it, they told the theaters, like, we're going to send you another copy later on with better CGI. That's what they said. It really didn't blend that line well between cat and human. The second one, these next 2 parts are kind of intertwined. And, you know, I mean, I could nitpick on some stuff and say that the Broadway version did it better, which it did. It totally did. But I'm not going to go into the small, minute stuff, maybe towards the end. But that's not, because those things aren't really why the movie failed. The movie failed because the story sucked. Well, also the CGI. But because that's very important for audiences. That's why audience didn't like it. But also the story sucked. So, spoiler. This movie is about a group of cats in London who are trying to get reincarnated. There's this elder named Deuteronomy, played by Judi Dench. In the 2019 version, I don't remember who she was played. He was played by it in the Broadway version. But anyway, she decides who gets to get reincarnated. right? That's what all these cats are working for. They're trying to prove that they deserve it. And so this movie, just the story just went all over the place. And so like the Broadway version, for context here, it had a lot of different characters as well. But it all kind of concentrated around one theme, right? One objective thing. And that's what Cats 2019 didn't do. So the Broadway version, what it did was it started off, it set up the universe, and actually pretty much one of the main characters in the 2019 version I thought wasn't in the Broadway version, but she actually is. Her name's Victoria in both of them. She is actually in the Broadway version. I'm going to show you a clip right here of her dancing in the Broadway version. And she is a good part of the story, but she's not as important in the Broadway version, and it's because she doesn't need to be. And that's the most important part. She doesn't need to be. And so, okay, so why she doesn't need to be, right? Well, because the story is not about her. Like, well, in the 2019 version it is, but I think there was a serious lapse in their judgment. The real storyline is about Grizabella. Grizabella is a worn-down cat. She's kind of dirty. They keep away from her, and they do portray that in the 2019 version, but I don't think they push it enough. And they also don't cover her enough, right? So, okay, so this movie is really about the cats accepting Grizabella. It's not about really anything. That's the thing, is the Broadway musical had it down. And so basically what happens is, I'll show a listing right here, but so you got Grizabella, people singing about her. You got Memory, which is her main song. Then you got Moment of Happiness, which has some lyrics from her song. And then you have Memory again. And then you have Heaviside Layer, right? All about her. And that's the point. The point is the movie's about her, right? And it's also about the other cats around. Actually, that's probably the most important part. It's the other cats coming around her, accepting as a part of their tribe, and deciding, hey, we want you to be reincarnated. That's what it's about. That's what the Broadway play is about. In the 2019 version, they spend a lot of time on Mr. Mistoffelees. He saves Victoria. He then has a moment where he saves Deuteronomy. And then he helps again, which Victoria kind of helps too. But they're on a Macavity ship, which Macavity's the main villain. And so the thing is that Mistoffelees... Okay, so Mr. Mistoffelees in the Broadway version, he just is not that important, right? To the story. He saves Deuteronomy and that's it. He's not going through any internal turmoil. He's not scared. He just saves her. And that's it. Because the entire point is these cats are so self-important. Even Gus, who's decrepit, he still cares more about his former acting career and thinks that his credibility should speak for itself. Like, all of them are very self-important characters, and they need to learn to be less self-important and to rally around Grizabella, who deserves a second life. And so, but the movie doesn't, the 2019 version doesn't do that. The 2019 version has Mr. Mistoffelees being scared, and then him going through his own subplot. You got Victoria on her own thing where she has a musical number, and then you have what's supposed to be Grizabella, but it's not really there because they don't talk about her all that much. And so the story's just kind of, we're in this universe with these cats that don't really look all that good because the CGI's not fantastic. You have trouble following the plot. It just kind of flips all over the place, and you just lose focus. You know, and there are some good parts. Skimbleshank's musical number in the 2019 version was a lot better than the Broadway version, which actually a lot is a little bit charged, but still, it's better. I really liked the musical version of the 2019 version. I really liked the 2019 version of Skimbleshanks. Thought it was really good. Okay, so the difference and the problem with the 2019 version is basically they didn't understand what they wanted their movie to be. So my biggest problem with this movie is that basically had three plots fighting each other. You have Victoria, who starts out the movie, and it's about her coming into the world of the Jellicle Cats, and then it's about Mr. Mistopheles and his fear, and then it's about Grizabella. But it's not really about Grizabella. They don't really touch on her that much. They just kind of push her aside, and she's a thing that's important at the end of the movie. You realize that she's really important. And that's about it. I mean, and on top of that, you have the similarities to the Broadway version, where you have a whole bunch of other cats that you have to at least give a little bit of screen time in order to tie to the overall theme and story. And so they're doing that on top of these three things, and they never really flush any of them out. The most they flush out is Mr. Mistopheles, but that just still feels shallow, because it's just like he just kind of showed halfway through the movie he's in there and he's really important. And then, yeah, the story just wasn't good. They didn't know what they wanted to do. And that's my biggest gripe with this movie. And so that is my main problem with Cats 2019. Please let me know what you thought. I did really like the Broadway version, and I really liked the Rum Tub Tugger. Please tell me what you thought of the Broadway version. Please tell me what you thought of the movie. If you've ever read the book, please let me know. Tell me what you thought of that. Please like, comment everything I just said, and then subscribe. So that's it. See you guys later. B-Dog out.